Well, hello there. Do hope you're all well. Well, I'm going to try and do my best to get through this. I've not really prepared anything because, if I'm honest, I've spent a bit of good quality time with my mum and my brother. Especially with my brother, he's not had the best of times since my father passed away because he was my dad's carer, and spent a lot of good quality time with him. He's just still missing him, so he's not had the best of times. So spent a lot of good quality time with him today. So I'm rambling on, please forgive me. But anyway, I'm unsure what I'm going to do for this video because before I set off to go see my brother, I listened to James OBrien while I was doing a bit of baking because my kids like to have homemade tea cakes with the dinner, and so we're making them while I'm cooking them, and it's talking about the conflict in Israel and what's happening there, and it mentioned about what the problems in Ireland and a little bit with something to do with the investigation about the pandemic and this and that. But then he kept saying he's going to be going across the pond to speak to Simon Marks. I thought, well, I've not heard him for a long, long time. I wonder what's happening now. It's been quiet since the orange screaming Mimi has left their White House. But anyway, when it came to the conversation, it absolutely just blew me away. I never thought I'd ever see the day when we will be having a conversation about a person in public office being defenestrated for telling the truth. Wow. Anyway, here's a conversation. Enjoy.
And now, over the pond we hop. Simon Marks is there. Simon, I've missed you.
I've missed you too, James. How are you?
Well, there's a huge hole in my show and it's shaped like Simon Marks.
Well,
a lot of people have commented upon this because, of course, the skip fire of American politics has calmed down somewhat, but there's a flare-up again today. In a nutshell, Liz Cheney is facing defenestration from her senior role in the Republican Party for the unforgivable crime in Trump's world of telling an unassailable truth.
Yeah, and I think we should pause just to reflect on how remarkable this is. As you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, she is Republican Party royalty. She is one of the daughters of former Vice President Dick Cheney, a man who, back during the George W. Bush administration, was widely perceived by his opponents to be the Prince of Darkness, as extreme as American politics could get. But how little did we all understand of where the Republican Party was going to head. Liz Cheney is the number 3 in the Republican leadership in the House of Representatives. At least she is for just a few more hours, because the cardinal sin that she committed last year was concluding that Donald Trump did indeed commit an impeachable act by arousing conspiracy theory believing supporters and inciting them to riot on Capitol Hill, the insurrection, the raid on the congressional building on January the 6th. That, in the former president's book, is unforgivable. The emperor in retirement, or rather in his post-presidency at Mar-a-Lago, has responded with a thumbs down. And so today, Liz Cheney is to be defenestrated by Republicans in the House of Representatives. She will pay the price for her treachery towards Donald Trump. And all of this indicates the extraordinary position that Donald Trump continues to occupy within the Republican Party firmament. He is far and away the most potent voice, and it's worth taking a listen to the impassioned speech that Liz Cheney made on the floor of the House of Representatives last night, absolutely indicating that as far as she is concerned, it's not just a question about the future of the Republican Party that is at stake. It is a question about the future of American democracy. Take a listen.
We don't have the clip, apparently. Keith was covering himself in glory earlier with his.
Today, we face a threat America has never seen before. A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election has resumed his aggressive effort to convince Americans that the election was stolen from him. he risks inciting further violence. Millions of Americans have been misled by the former president. They have heard only his words, but not the truth, as he continues to undermine our democratic process, sowing seeds of doubt about whether democracy really works at all. Every one of us who has sworn the oath must act to prevent the unraveling of our democracy. Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar.
Let me interject
Absolutely.
briefly. I mean,
go
remaining
ahead, Tim.
silent, and I mean, again, what one reflects upon what's happening here. Presumably, the people that are about to vote to oust her know that she's telling the truth, but they also know that huge swathes of Republican support believe Donald Trump's lie, and if they want to secure those votes, if they want to hang on to those votes, they have to go along with the lie, which means they have to attack the person who's telling the truth. Even as I say the words, I can't quite believe it's happening.
Yeah, no, that is exactly where we are here now, certainly as far as Republican politics is concerned. I think it's worth underscoring that she said in that speech that she is concerned that the president could incite fresh violence in the United States. So potent is his influence over those 74 million people who voted for him. You know, Democrats would love everyone to stop talking about Donald Trump. I had one reporter yesterday on Twitter telling me you just need to stop talking about him after he issued a statement backing the voter ID proposals in the UK and saying, once again, entirely falsely, that voter ID laws can prevent the United States from never again having an election that was rigged and stolen from him. But, you know, much as it would be lovely to hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil, I mean, the reality is he's there exercising massive influence over the Republican Party. That's why the Republicans' leader in the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, has absolutely caved to him on this particular issue. It's why Liz Cheney is about to be defenestrated. And whether or not Donald Trump seeks re-election himself in 2024 in the presidential election is kind of almost irrelevant.
Sure.
He is the Republican Party's kingmaker today.
Joseph Goebbels, I think, at this point in proceedings merits a quick airing. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. I'll leave you hanging on what the next bit is about the lie can be maintained only for such time as ... Simon Marks, lovely to hear your voice. Absolute top dollar.
Absolutely. Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar. The quote James starts off and finishes off with the ... is, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic and/or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes virtually important for the state to use all of its powers to suppress dissent, for the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Now, there are some who say there's no evidence that it was used by Joseph Goebbels, but it is attributed to him, and it does seem to fit with this situation. Michael Rosen beautifully put it, though, when he said, I sometimes fear that people think that fascism arrives in fancy dress, worn by grotesques and monsters, as played out in endless reruns of the Nazis. Fascism arrives as your friend. It will restore your honour, make you feel proud, protect your house, give you a job, clean up the neighbourhood, remind you of how great you once were, clear out the venal and the corrupt, remove everything you feel is unlike you. It doesn't walk in saying, our programme means militias, mass imprisonments, transportations, war and persecution. I also remember that Dr. Martin Niemöller quote. First they came for the socialists. I did nothing because I'm not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. I did nothing because I'm not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did nothing because I'm not a Jew. Now they've come for me, and now there's nobody left to speak for me. The last conversation I heard with Simon Marks was with Nick Abbott, where Nick talked about Donald Trump being a monster that had been killed 20 minutes before the film had ended. You know he's not dead. and you know he's going to jump up, and if you don't kill him, he's going to eat your face. Now the Republican Party have to carry on with this game of pretending that the election was stolen because they allowed the monster to live. Now he's eating the Republican Party's face, and are now forced to finish someone's political career for telling the truth. Absolutely remarkable, isn't it? But anyway, I shall leave the video here, and until the next time, I shall bid you farewell. Take care.